All right, a wonderful Tuesday morning to you, wherever it is you're listening to us from omoluwabi. It is 7.7 FM, and you're welcome to another interesting edition of the program, News Lens, right here on your favorite dial. Omoluwabi, it is 7.7 FM. You know how we do it on the show every weekday from the hours of 7 till around 8 a.m. We review some of the headlines that made it through to the Nigerian dailies, and then we analyze them together. And when we say together, we have our Inas analyst who is in the studio with us already this morning, and of course, you that is listening to us this morning. You also get to be a part of the conversation when the time comes up. When we open the phone lines for you to join the conversation this morning. And then you can also join the conversation online via Facebook this morning. We are streaming live at omoluwabi 7.7 FM this morning. All right, without much ado, my name is Oluwatayo Ajiwale, and of course I'm reporting for duty today, the 24th day in the month of September 2024. You're welcome on board. This is News Lens right here on Omoluwabi. It is 7.7 FM. All right, today I'm not going to be doing the show alone this morning. I have someone with me in the studio. I have Hope with me in the studio. Let me allow her to introduce herself this morning.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Tayo. My name is Hope Sadu, and I'm super excited to be here this morning.
All right, we're all super excited to be here this morning to review some of the headlines that made it through to the Nigerian dailies. And of course, we have 4 newspapers this morning. We have the Nigerian Tribune, we have the Vanguard, we have the Punch, and of course the Guardian newspaper this morning. I'll be starting off with news headlines from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Which one we says the banner headline here on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper here says Edo will meet APC INEC in court, retrieve mandates PDP. That's one and start some riders here says results unacceptable at APC PDP turn poll to transaction not election, fake. Oyebanji, Sanwo-Olu, Abiodun, Ayedatiwa, Ododo, others greet Okpebolo. And say this one says it was a state capture, not election. That's coming from Obi. Polled failed integrity test. That's coming from Yaga Africa. And then we have this one saying review RF uploads amidst discrepancies. CDD urges INEC. This one says lawyers, forensic analysts will determine my next move. That's coming from Akpata. All of those stories that are on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And we have this one saying, still from the Vanguard newspaper, saying Dangote, Mexico's Bocas refineries may upstage U.S. Europe production. That's coming from OPEC. I can get full details of that story on page 20 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And this one here says, August 79, Nigeria demands UN Security Council seats. August 79, Nigeria demands UN Security Council seats. More details of that story is on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And then we have this one, say diesel price still increasing nationwide. That's coming from NBS report there. That's an NBS report, Nigerian Bureau of Statistics reporting saying diesel price still increasing nationwide. Full details of that story is on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And then we have this one saying 2024 annual confab in Bielsa. Editors invite experts to address economic media space challenges. Full details of that story also is on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Fubara's loyalists ditch PDP, APC, pitch tents with APP. More of that stories on page 10 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And we have this one saying Air Peace plane suffers windshield crack on landing at Abuja Airport. Air Peace plane suffers windshield crack on landing at Abuja Airport. More details of that story is on page 39 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And lastly, let's see what's here on the sports corner of the Vanguard newspaper saying that this one saying Morocco 2025, Libya drags Super Eagles to Benina. Full details of that story is on page 38 of the Vanguard newspaper. And that's all we have from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Let's see what Opa for us this morning. It seems he has a Punch newspaper to share with us this morning.
Okay, so for the Punch newspaper, we have here PDP demands fresh collation as LP Akpata alleges fraud. PDP demands fresh collation as LP Akpata alleges fraud. Okay, we also have INEC must abide by Section 65 of Electoral Act 2022. Damagu declares INEC must abide by Section 65 of Electoral Act 2022. We also have poll was a transaction, not an election. LP declares poll was a transaction, not an election. LP declares. All right, more from the Punch newspaper. We have police probe alleged killing of 3 Lagos teenagers by drivers. You can find this story on page 45 of the Punch newspaper. Police probe alleged killing of 3 by Lagos teenage driver. You can find this and more on page 5 of the new Punch newspaper.
All right, still from the Punch newspaper, we have this one saying why federal government must end petrol subsidy rather now. That's coming from Dangote. Dangote is saying why federal government must end petrol subsidy now. Dangote speaking, and then we are some writers. Yes, it's fake plans fuel tankers pack for Dangote refinery to tackle congestion. Full details of that story is on page 31 of the Punch newspaper this morning. National Assembly resumes today, demands 2025 budget. National Assembly resumes today, demands 2025 budget. More details of that story is on page 16 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Prof. Ubara local government caretaker chairman dump PDP for APP. Prof. Ubara LG caretaker chairman dump PDP for APP. More details of that story is on page 39 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And we have this one says, litigation claims against 6 banks. Litigation claims against 6 banks near 2 trillion naira. And that story is on page 32 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And we have lastly here from the front page of the Punch newspaper, passengers panic as plane windshield breaks in Abuja. Passengers panic as plane windshield breaks in Abuja. More details of that story could be found on page 32 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And that's all we have from the Punch newspaper this lovely this lovely Tuesday morning. Let's see the Guardian newspaper this morning with this one as a banner headline here on the front page of the Guardian newspaper saying non-profit business amid low impact, over 174,100 new NGOs established in 4 years. Non-profit businesses amid low impact, over 174,100 new NGOs established in 4 years. And like always, the Guardian has put some statistics here on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. You can see the infographics there, and you can get a full glimpse of the information by getting a copy of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And we have this one saying, after Edo, APC vows to clinch Ondo, Anambra Rivers. After Edo, APC vows to clinch Ondo, Anambra Rivers. More details of that story is on page 27 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. FEC OK's plans to strengthen our national value system in schools. FEC OK's plans to strengthen national value system in schools. More details of that story is on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Hunger, Nigeria demands Security Council seats. Hunger, Nigeria demands Security Council seats. More details of that story is on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And we have this one saying high exchange rates spike. Spike price of cooking gas by 69.15% in 1 year. High exchange rates spikes price of cooking gas by 69.15% in 1 year. More details of that story is on page 18 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Party CSO seek INEC's review of Edo governorship election results. Party CSO seek INEC's review of Edo governorship election results. More details of that story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. EFCC, ICPC accuse lawmakers of executing constituency projects through proxies. EFCC, ICPC accuses lawmakers of executing constituency projects through proxies. More details of that story is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Ministry of Finance budgets mum over allegations of project duplications. Ministries of Finance budget mum over allegations of project duplications. More details of that story is on page 15 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And where we have this one says that Nigerians spent 1.4 trillion naira on epileptic power discourse owed 385 billion naira. Nigerians spent 1.4 trillion naira on epileptic power. Discourse owed 385 billion naira. More details of that story is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And then that's all we have from the Guardian newspaper this morning. And lastly, let's see the Nigerian Tribune this morning.
Okay, we have this one on the front banner which says more knocks on conduct of Edo Guba poll. More knocks on Edo Guba poll. You can find that on page 16 of the Tribune newspaper. Election failed integrity test, say Yiga Africa. PDP rejects results, called for a review. Election failed integrity test, Yiga Africa. PDP rejects call for review. Okpebholo's victory implies confidence in Tinubu renewed hope agenda. Okpebholo's victory impliques confidence in Tinubu's Renew Hope agenda. Kidnapped Zamfara University student staff released after 7 months. Kidnapped Zamfara student released after 7 months. You can find that story on page 27 of the Tribune newspaper. Food insecurity may worsen crisis in poultry sector. Food insecurity may worsen crisis in poultry food sector. Stakeholders declare. You can find that story on page 12 of the Tribune newspaper. Dangote refinery marketers to meet over petrol lifting prices. Dangote refinery marketers to meet over petrol lifting prices. You can find that on page 6 of the Tribune newspaper. Court dismisses suit seeking Ganduje's sack as APC chairman. Court dismisses suit dismissing Ganduje's sack as APC chairman. You can find that story on page 16 of the Tribune newspaper. External reserves hit 22 months high to $37.31 billion. External reserves hit 22 months high to $37.31 billion US dollar. You can find that on page 6 of the Tribune newspaper. We're taking more stories from the Tribune newspaper. FG launches disaster relief funds for emergency. FG launches disaster relief funds for emergency. You can find that story on page 8 of the Tribune newspaper. Structure after 150 meters of Ibadan Circular Road won't be demolished again. Structures after 150 meters of Ibadan Circular Road won't be demolished again. That was what Makinde said. You can find that on page 2 of the Tribune newspaper. Forex volatility signifies threat to our operation. Forex volatility signifies threat to our operation. You can find more on that story on page 6 of the Tribune newspaper. And lastly, from the Tribune newspaper, Kogi Assembly calls for sack of EFCC chairman, insists Kogi's money not missing. Kogi Assembly calls for sack of the EFCC chairman, insists Kogi's money not missing. You can find more on that story on page 16 of the Tribune newspaper.
All right, and that's all we have from the review of the dailies this morning. That's the headlines for you this morning. Right about now, we'll be going on a short commercial break, and when we return, we go into the analysis proper this morning. Yeah, we are still, like I said earlier, our analyst is in the studio already, and we are set and ready. We are going to be doing this together this morning. When we say together, that means you also get to be a part of the program this morning. Like I said, we are streaming live on Facebook already. Drop your comments on Facebook this morning, and when the time comes, we'll put the phone lines for you to join the conversation this morning. All right, so without more to do, let's pay some bills, and when we come back, we'll start the review of some of these headlines together. All right, still News Lens right here on omoluwabi 87.7 FM.
Fresh news, best talk, hot music, where else?
Omoluwabi 87.7 FM.
At break time, when my champ needs to keep going, he's going to need his favorite snack, made with the goodness of malt, milk, cocoa, and crunchy Niger-grown maize, containing calcium, iron, and fiber.
Break time is crunch time. So give your chance this delicious crunchy delight to keep them winning all day. Milo and a Snacks, snack of future champions. Milo!
Hello?
Hello there. I'm at the hospital right now because the kills are seriously ill. I've been on a long queue and the doctor is here to attend to me. I don't know what to do again.
You know what? How about the numbers I gave you while leaving?
Oh, the e-doctor numbers?
Yes.
Call them right away. They will attend to you immediately.
Hello?
Darling, just like magic. Junior is playing. Even Princess is eating like an adult.
You know I've told you to calm down. Our family is covered with eDokita Premium Plan. With eDokita, you have access to healthcare at your fingertips. Stop wasting your productive hours while waiting in the clinic for doctor. Subscribe today to any of eDokita plans and enjoy online chat and call consult, laser therapy, medical outreach, and home care services. Simply dial 0704-714-2000 or 0701-000-8670. Log on to www.edokita.com or visit us at eDokita, number 2 Ocean Street, New Bodija, Ibadan. eDokita, inspiring wellness.
Hello, with everybody for you.
My Sabi people, how una dey? Na Sabi people dey listen to Sabi Radio. Omoluwabi Radio 87.7 FM, na dem be Sabi Radio.
Alright, you welcome back. It's the News Lens right here on omoluwabi 7.7 FM. And like I said earlier, before we went on that break, I told you that when we come back, we'll be checking some of these headlines and review them together this morning. And this morning, I have with me in the studio. Oh, but still, we have with us in the studio. Hope is also with us in the studio this morning. This morning, we have Kayode Ajani with us in the studio this morning. Good morning, Kayode.
Good morning, Tayo. Good morning, listeners.
And of course, we have Comrade Omoju with us this morning. Good morning, Comrade Omoju.
Many thanks for having me. Good morning, Nigerians.
Okay, we can't just stop talking about the Edo election. It's still trending on the various Nigerian dailies. As a matter of fact, this it forms the banner headline on most of the newspapers this morning. The Punch puts this morning saying PDP demands fresh collation as LP Akpata alleges fraud. And then the writer here says INEC must abide by Section 65 of the Electoral Acts 2022. That's coming from Damagum. That's the PDP chair there. The same says poll was a transaction, not an election. That's coming from Labour Party. Full details of that story is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And the Nigerian Tribune also says something in that light this morning, saying more knocks on conduct of Edo Guba poll. More knocks on conduct of Edo Guba poll. The story has a rider here say many riders here from the Nigerian Tribune saying election field integrity test, says Yaga Africa. PDP rejects results, calls for review. Okpebolo's victory inflicts confidence in Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. That's coming from APC. Election constitution of gross. Okay, that's coming from APC. We have this one saying election continuation of gross undermining of nation's democratic process. That's coming from Peter Obi. My aspiration never about power but to serve. That's coming from Igudalo. Labour Party candidate Akpata says vote buying, results falsification characterized poll. ACLP requests Beavers generated accreditation data from INEC. More of that story is on page 15 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. And the Vanguard also says something about that. Let's see how the Vanguard puts it this morning. Edo will meet APC, INEC in court to retrieve mandates. Edo will meet APC, INEC in court to retrieve mandates. That's coming from PDP. Says results are unacceptable. At APC, PDP turned poll. To transaction, not election. That's coming from Labour Party there. And we have this one saying, Fek Oyebamiji, Sanwo-Olu, Abiodun Ayedatiwa, Ododo orders greets Okpebolo. Says this one says it was a state's capture, not election, coming from Obi. Poll failed integrity test. Yaga Africa speaking there. Review IREF uploads amidst this discrepancies. CDD urges INEC. And lastly, Akpata is saying lawyers, forensic analysts will determine my next move. That's coming from Akpata, the Labour Party candidate in the last election in Edo State. Kayode Ajani. Many Nigerians are saying probably Nigerian politicians are bad losers. They don't concede to defeat. PDP is saying let's meet in court. Akpata is saying don't worry, I'll consult my lawyers to know the next line of action. The opposition party everywhere is saying that wasn't an election. And many are saying if it was the PDP that won the election, APC will have done the same thing too. Our leaders, our politicians, bad losers.
Thank you so much. Well, I won't say that they are bad losers, because at the same time, we all understand that politicians are the same everywhere when we talk about their characters, especially their action after.
Politicians are the same everywhere.
Yes.
You mean because when you say everywhere, in the last general election in America, someone didn't go to court. Just I congratulated the winner and they moved on.
Well, you see, the style of operation might actually be different. That is it, but you will see a kind of a similarity. We have seen that in the past. We have, even in the ongoing electioneering process in the US, we have seen people attacking personalities too. Yes, so it actually happens. Only that styles actually, differs. But as I was saying, just as I started with, we cannot call them bad losers unless we actually, analyze issues surrounding the election. I actually have my own reservations too, because just as we were told, election is not just about voting alone. It is more of a system, consisting of different processes. Yes, and then by the time they fail to follow the laid down processes, definitely we cannot say the election is quite credible. And then in that instance, we cannot really fault the losing party going to court, because when you look at that election, I also followed it, and then at a point in time, what we know when it comes to collation of results is that collation of results always start from the polling unit.
Of course.
Yes, then from the polling units, to the local
government,
to the ward. Yes,
level?
From the ward to the local government,
at the state level.
Yes, at a point in some local government, they decided not to, make it public, and they moved collation of votes in some local government to the state office. So by the time you interrogate all these issues, you will also come to a conclusion that yes, the election in all its sincerity is not fair. You see, and that is what we always say about government creating loopholes, because assuming this did not happen, then we can now refer to PDP as a bad loser. But definitely they have a convincing reasons to actually cry out. That's my own opinion.
Do you think PDP will have done better if PDP had the opportunity? Would they have done the same things? Many are saying why is PDP crying foul at this point in time? Saying there's no difference between PDP and APC. Saying they did the same thing. It was, as a matter of fact, the current governor in Edo State came on the platform of APC before he defected to the PDP. And then many are saying, how was the election that brought you in? How credible was that election?
Even our colleagues at the feed even mentioned that both parties actually, give people money.
I don't want to talk about that because I'll still be talking about that later on the day on Periscope this morning. But then let me take a Comrade Omoju's reaction. As regards opposition parties going to court, Akpata is saying, my lawyers, forensic analysts, they will determine my next line of action. And then the PDP is saying, meet us in court, APC, INEC. We have some scores to settle. We will reclaim our mandate through the courts. What's your take on this? It seems the courts is the final say when it comes to election now. Lawyers are not the ones, judges are not the ones declaring winners of election in Nigeria.
Well, it's rather sad that that is the system here. Just as Gaude Ajani said, these politicians may have similar characters worldwide. They may have, the same attitude worldwide as human beings. But what differs, what sets the difference is the structure that is obtainable in each country. That structure is what determines or what checks the excessiveness of a particular character. Here, certain characters do certain things with impunity. But in some, sinner climes, even though I remember Obama saying that even though I would have loved to stay more than this in office, but the structure in place cannot allow me.
So an average person is always power.
Yes, power drawn. The same thing, President Obasanjo, attempted third time bid. Possibly, maybe we would have been talking about going for a third time now. Now, until we have a structure in place that is strong enough to check the excesses of any individual, then we'll continue on this path. It's most unfortunate that the last arbiter will now be the court, given the shenanigans. Personally, let me say this, personally, on a good day, with what I've said it and I'm repeating it, with what is happening in the country right now, I think it's only in Nigeria that you can have the like of APC still. If I were a candidate, I would have possibly let me look for another party.
Do other people have better options in the last election? That's what many people will ask. Who are the people that made up the opposition parties?
I'm talking of how bad the situation has been within the shortest period of time under them. So for them to, still have that effrontery to say, oh, we are this, and now coming to win an election.
Let's talk about something in that light. This morning, the APC is saying the election that the Edo governorship election, the outcome of that election, it inflicts some confidence in Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. Saying Nigerians are actually confident about this administration. That's a sign. That's what we should look out for, because it seems Nigerians love President Tinubu at this time. Nigerians love APC. That's what the outcome of that election is all about. That's coming from the APC.
Okay, coming from the APC.
Is that not the reality? APC won with over 40,000 votes in Edo State.
That you are talking about paper voting, their decisions. I'm talking about reality.
If there should be a general elections tomorrow,
yes,
who do you think can slug it out with President Tinubu?
It's most unfortunate that there is no, at the moment, virile opposition, which is most unfortunate. Because I've expected now that, given the circumstances in the country, we should have been having somebody taking advantage of this to begin its campaign promises.
One of the major opposition is even a house divided against itself as they speak. The PDP, we have some people saying, let the party chairman go. We have some people saying the party chairman must stay. And then there's been the BOT is even not coming forth at this time. Let me take Kayode Ajani's reaction as regards that. The APC is saying this means Nigerians still love our government. They love what we are doing. It's a sign that Nigerians they have confidence in the renewed hope agenda. What's your take on that?
Thank you so much. Well, in my own opinion, I think the issue is actually about a failed opposition party. Yes, and in all reality, we really do not have opposition party. That's the fact. We do not have. Because just as you started in your introduction, even the sitting governor contested under the platform of APC before he moved to the PDP. So tomorrow, who knows? Provided they start to use the state dogs against him, probably can also decide to join them back. That is the reality. So I think the issue that we need to address, even as a people, is that people need to, I think people now need to form a formidable opposition party. That is the fact. But with the current structures that we have, politicians, they usually say something that 4 years out of power is not easy. That's the fact. And that is why you see most of our politicians romancing whoever that is in power. So it is a sad reality. And that is what is actually weakening our, governance in this country. Because by the time, even those that are speaking now, majority of those that you even view as being radical now, majority of them just even want to get something too. That's the fact. You see, by the time they throw 2 or 3 little appointments to them, they will go back to their cover. So it is quite unfortunate, sincerely, but just as I've said, the solution is for the people to actually save themselves, because most times we have been discussing that who is the politicians. You see, people do not even know that they are the one that owns the authority of the state. That's the fact. We only give the authority through elections to those that we elect. So we do not need to wait. If PDP is not acting as opposition at the national level, and then APC in the state here is not acting as opposition, then the people can also come together. Do not forget that it is towards each election that will always have third forces. Yes, as they usually call them. But I believe that we do not need to wait till that next general election before we do the right thing, because until we have people that will take it as their own responsibilities. Of course, we have people that are doing it on a personal level. You see, exposing the evils of government and so on. But at the same time, I think it is not enough if there is not a kind of a kind of effort coming together to form a formidable team.
Interesting one there. Let's move away from that and let's come back to Oyo State. Let's come back to the city of Ibadan. There's been some back and forth for over some few weeks now as regards the issue of the circular route. Some side of people are saying you can't demolish our structures because you want to construct new routes. And then there's been this back and forth protests been going on at secretariat, at the government secretariat since last week thereabouts. And then we've seen a lot of people coming on board to say what exactly is going on. Did these people, did they build on the where those structures are supposed to be at this time? But then someone is speaking this morning, that's the person of the governor of Oyo State, saying structures after 15 meters of Ibadan circular road won't be demolished again. Maybe the governor is a listening governor, or what do you think?
Thanks so much. You see, that was why I mentioned earlier that until the people realize that they actually owns the real power, that's the fact.
But then we need development,
Well, we are not saying that we do not need development, but the question is that to whose advantage? Do not forget that we will always talk about public goods. Just imagine we have some setback along that rail track after Iyaganku. At the time of building that rail track, that land, they actually collected it as setback. Now it has been alleged that the land has been sold or under a PPA arrangement or so on. They have commenced building structures on it, houses. That is what we are saying. And that is why some people have been saying that collecting people's land for the sole purpose of you selling it back after few years is not LD.
The government is not collecting this land. They want to collect this land to construct new roads, circular roads.
Don't let us mix it together.
Okay.
All these setbacks, they are not the same as the circular route itself.
The main road. But then
yes.
People need to move away from the main road. That's what the government is saying.
Well,
urban planners will tell you the same thing.
Yes. See, we are not saying that is not correct, but what we have been advocating for is that 500 meter from the right and the left is not just good for the people, those that owns the land. And then I think we should give it to the governors at this point. Although it actually took him a while to respond, but at the same time, he has assured people that those that have already built their structures on that inside that 500 meters will not be demolished any further. But at the same time, there's this argument that is 500 meter right and left LD. That is the question, because at the end of the day, if it is not this government of Seyi Makinde, successive government will sell this land. That is what I'm saying. Go to Iyaganku over there. They have been selling that land.
Interesting one. Coming about you. The governor is saying structure after 150 meters of Ibadan circular road won't be demolished again. That's coming from Governor Seyi Makinde. And many are saying, now, let's applaud our governor. Probably he's a listening governor at this time. And then he's doing well for us. But many people will say, urban developers will say, we need these setbacks for proper road construction. And so people shouldn't just be on the road. See roads all over Nigeria. Go to our major markets in Ibadan. See how people display their wares on main roads. Probably this is what the government is trying to avoid. And then they say that let's create some 150 meters setback. What's your take on this?
Or to be sincere, I may offend some people, but the truth must be told that there is need for some sanity, on our urban roads. Though I still fault some government officials who relax when some of these things are coming up gradually. I've expected that when somebody is trespassing, at that time you quickly check. But by the time somebody relax, or you relax and you allow things degenerate to a point that certain group of people have now invested in that in land, that's when you now wake up to start demolishing. And I don't subscribe to that. So I expect some sanity on our roads. It happened in Abuja.
Yeah, bringing me to my next question,
yes.
Sorry to cut you short there. It's who are the people who give approvals for all of these constructions in the first place? People will tell you you have some documents that you need to get before you start construction, and then you ask people, where's your CFO, where's all of this before you start construction, and they will tell you they've gone to the Ministry of blah 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 to get some few things, and at the end of the day they will tell you that all of these documents you've gotten, they are illegal. And then you ask the question, what is responsible for all of this?
That is the corruption that we're talking about in the system. But this corruption can be seen. The governor, the commissioners, they drive around towns and they see some of these things, emanating gradually from certain quarters, and they close their eyes. As authority concerned, I don't care where you got your document from. If the authority concerned is going, and maybe the commissioner for works and housing, who happens to be a pundit in that field, realizes that no, this is wrong. You don't keep quiet until they now turn that place, to become a nuisance, a threat to the community, before you now start saying, we'll demolish. Somebody is saying something and he's not saying something.
Interesting. Well, the Kayode, shouldn't the government be actively involved even before the development of? We have so many news sites, so to speak. They call it news sites in this part of the world, so to speak. But the government
that are probably illegal.
But they call it. It seems the government is not being active. The government is not being involved in all of the development of these new areas. And then we ask the question: urban development at this point, government should be actively involved. Who is the commissioner for environment? Who is the commissioner for works? What are they doing? What is this ministry doing at this point in time? Would you want to come out one day and say we want to demolish people's houses? What has been in place in time past? Do we have to checkmate all of these things? Kayode Ajani.
Thank you so much. And that is why some of us will not stop speaking. We will not stop talking at the same time. Because if you should look at, government policies and programs, you will even ask yourself that. And, these are people. Thank God that the VP, as we speak, is at the United Nations
General Assembly.
And you will ask these people that they also travel out and they attend international conferences and so on. Then what is wrong? What is our issue? You can claim to develop Igbo Agala that is within the
urban area.
The urban area now. And we have locations that people call new sites.
The outskirts.
They don't have roads. They don't have, electricity.
No water, nothing.
No water.
Most of these people contribute for themselves to get electricity.
Sustainable city, and every year, even governments now, majority of these state governors now appoint essay on sustainable development. And you ask yourself that, why are we so interested in deceiving the people? That's the fact. We can wake up tomorrow morning to go to a location that is already LD enough and just decided that, okay, we want to acquire land and build structures, when you have, rural areas that you can develop, transform into urban cities. So, well, since it is quite just funny. And that is why we in the media too will not actually stop, we should not stop speaking. Talking. Yes, we should not stop talking and speaking truth to power. That we cannot continue like this. You guys too, you do travel out, and you know how it is being done in other places.
Well planned.
So it is quite unfortunate.
Quite unfortunate. Kayode Ajani's submission there, and Commander Body is not also happy in the studio this morning because.
Do you even know that? Hold on, please.
Okay.
I know they did not pay us to do this. Do you even know that Bodija residents who are crying out now yesterday? I saw it online.
We are looking at that event too. It's unfolding, and then we are keeping our tabs on it because it's just so unfortunate. We just come up with policies, and it's many have even said the bane of this current administration at the federal level is just policy somersault, and then government will just come up with some policies overnight and then show it at the people, and then ask the question: excuse me, are there no plans in place? Do we just do things just because we felt these are the things that need to be done at this time? Who are the people in charge? What are they doing? Go to secretariats now, you see people seated doing nothing. And that's the question. What's the essence of governance? We move on this morning. Let's pay some bills this morning. This is still Newsnet on omoluwabi 87.7 FM. We'll be back after this short commercial break. Do not go anywhere.
Fresh news, best talk, hot music, where else?
Omoluwabi 87.7 FM.
The voice of integrity, 87.7 FM.
I will show you. Junior, don't do that.
Sweetheart, no matter what you do, we show you love. So you can show more love to everyone.
Mom, how do you show more love to everyone? I will show you love.
Show some more love today with 4 more packs of your favorite Indomie noodles in Indomitable and Super Pack cartons. Also, each Indomitable pack is now 200 naira, while Super Pack is now 350 naira. So hurry now. Offer valid till stock lasts.
In any emergency, every second counts. The Nigerian Communications Commission brings you the 112 emergency toll-free line, available nationwide, anytime, any day, absolutely free. With just 3 simple digits, 112, help is on the way. Dial from any network at any time. No charges, just immediate response. Remember, the 112 toll-free line directly connects to emergency services. If you need the police, fire service, ambulance services, Federal Road Safety Corps, Nigeria Civil Defense Corps, and more. Because when it comes to saving lives, we're all in this together at NCC. NCC, connecting Nigeria.
When it's bright and early, get your breakfast right. You need all the nutrients that will hold you tight. Stay in power, you find it all in peak. Every move you make, Peak's got you all the way. And the peak goes on.
Power on every morning with a Peak protein breakfast to make the most of every day. Peak, reach for your peak.
Hello, greet everybody for you.
My Sabi people, how una dey? Na Sabi people dey listen to Sabi Radio. Omoluwabi Radio 87.7 FM, na dem be Sabi Radio.
The voice of integrity, 87.7 FM.
Right, you're welcome back. It's still Newslands right here on omoluwabi 87.7 FM. You too can join the conversation this morning. We want to hear from you. What's your take on some of the things we've discussed this morning in the studio? The studio lines are open 07047 007999. 07047007999. You can also call us on 08053 888933. 08053888933. What's your take on some of the things we've discussed this morning? The studio lines are open. You can also join the conversation on Facebook this morning at Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. Omoluwabi 87.7 FM is the handle on Facebook. What's your take? We want to hear from you. What's your opinion as regards some of the things we have this morning to discuss, that we've been discussing this morning, rather. Okay, let's check this one out. It seems Dangote is the man of the season as we speak. He's the man of the moment. He's in the news again, talking about him and marketers having a meeting on how to make sure that they start lifting the petrol from Dangote Refinery. Dangote Refinery marketers to meet over petrol lifting pricing. Independent marketers have been granted the will to go and start lifting petrol. at this time. Okay, let's pick this call before we lost the call already. And they've been given the permission to go and start lifting petrol. You know, initially when Dangote Refinery kicked off petrol distribution, they were like NNPC will be the sole buyer, but now marketers are now allowed to go and get petrol from Dangote. But then they're saying Dangote will meet with them to know how they would form that they will come up with logistics on how to lift petrol from Dangote Refinery. Is this a welcome development, Kaide Ajani?
Yes. Let us, for now, since this is the information that we have for now, so we'll say it is a welcome development. But at the same time, you know, well, we have exercised a lot of patience, yes, and we will continue to do so until until we have the real relief that they promised Nigerians. Because as we speak, all this forth and back, you know, some people have even heard their own opinion that it is not necessary. But at the same time, this is what you have when you have, because do not forget that during President Muhammadu Buhari administration, there was this argument that yes, President Muhammadu Buhari was not the one giving out the real instructions, that most times he was not even aware of some of these policies and so on. I don't want to believe that the same thing is happening now too. Yes, because all this inconsistency, especially with NNPC, presidency and so on, it is quite worrisome. Sincerely, we just hope that President Tinubu in this case will also come out to speak. Do not forget that it was when President Tinubu spoke the other time about giving some waivers to Dangote Refinery and so on. That was when we had a little calmness in town. So I think at this point, the president himself should actually speak on this issue.
Interesting one. Okay, let me cut it short very quickly. Let's please take our the modules reaction that because we are pressed for time already. What's your take on as regards to the issue of Dangote Refinery? Marketers will meet with the Dangote Refinery today to know how to form logistics and how to lift petrol from that refinery.
See, I'm always very careful as to putting my mouth in Dangote this, Dangote that, because
just a moment.
Okay,
Let's see who is there. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Your name and where you calling us from?
Please, I do from.
All right, please make your contribution.
Yeah, on the side of the thing, only God knows when we are going to overcome this side of it, because it is been up to a month that we are facing fuel crisis, and the hike in the cost of transportation is nothing to write home about. So I think the federal government has a lot to do on this, because the hardship is too much. So I also call on state governors too, that they should man up and look into this fuel of 18. So just like ours in the state now, they should roll out more Mitutum bus. And for the circular road, it's a good thing we have a listening here at the end of our charge in the state, who has finally addressed the people that are affected at the circular road. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for being a part of the program this morning. Coming to Moju, you were saying something.
I said I'm trying to be careful as to putting my mouth in what happens to be somebody's private business, but
someone's private business, it seems, is determining the fate of Nigerians at this time. So we have to talk about it.
Over 200 million Nigerians is most unfortunate. What I would have, we spoke about, we spoke against the NMPs being the sole
buyer.
Yes, and it's like that's why we said we should keep speaking. Be that as it may, let me use this forum to express my concern regarding our moribund non-functional refineries again. If by now, going to 2 years of this administration and the fuel subsidy removal with all the money accruable from it, no one refinery is functional at the moment or about to commence operation, then I think it's a slap on the current administration. By now, effort should be, in fact, one of the refineries should be near completion.
A slap on just this current administration.
Yes.
People will say it's been a problem that we've been facing over the years.
The reason why I said it's a slap is because this current administration removed fuel subsidy, and it is expected that certain amount, has been seen. We have seen quite a number of amount from the process of the first subsidy removal.
Some people too will argue and say there was a time in Nigeria where we enjoyed enough of buoyancy, we enjoyed enough largesse from our oil produce.
That was
what did we do with that money?
Go one era.
What did we do with that money? Even at democracy from 1999 to around 2007, many people say we sell crude oil at a very
wonderful rate.
And then we couldn't do anything with that money.
Very good.
We now have Moribund refinery.
Very good. That is why somebody said, I understand the system better than those people that you are talking about.
Okay, let's forget about this person who said he understand the system. Why didn't those people that were dead do it in that time?
That was then. Let's concentrate on now.
But then this administration will tell you that they made a lot of
We didn't vote for excuses.
They made a lot of rot on ground.
No. If this president had campaigned that, you people come, I'm not a magician. Do you think he would have, had his way? They will tell you, I will do this, I will do that.
As a person, you wouldn't want to demarcate yourself.
Yes. But what I'm saying is, this current regime, sincerely speaking, has seen quite a number of cash. I mean, cool cash from fuel subsidy removal. Take it or leave it. Where is this money? That's the question. We don't need palliatives as Nigerians. I'm not talking about palliative. Let's share rice. Let's give them this. No. I'm talking about making at least one refinery work. Then we would de-emphasize our talk about Dangote or what have you out there.
Interesting one there. Let's see who is here on Facebook. Sulaiman Sharif is saying, thank God Governor Makinde addressed the protesters regarding to Ibadan Circular Road yesterday. The rumor about those demolition in Ibadan Circular Road has finally been laid to rest. Mr. Governor promised, and I quote, anyone who already has a building within the 150 meters to 500 meters, none of the houses that are standing right there will be demolished, but there must be no further developments on that corridor. Kudos to the listening governor for being a responsive and responsible government. Thank you very much, Sulaiman Sharif, for being a part of the program this morning. We certainly want to appreciate everyone for joining the program too this morning. Commodore Modu, sincere appreciation to you for coming this morning.
It's my pleasure.
And of course, Kayode Ajani, thank you for being a part of the program this morning.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
I also have with me in the studio, Hope, thank you for being a part of the program this morning. I want to say your goodbyes.
Thank you for having me. I hope our listeners have a lovely day ahead.
Okay, lovely day ahead, that's what we'll be saying. All right, up next on omoluwabi 7.7 FM, eSports Race with Jonathan Ibileke. That's after which Kakaki will be coming on board. Tomorrow is another time on the program, Newslands. But before tomorrow, I'll be coming back by 11 a.m. On the program Periscope on this dial. Do not go anywhere. Stay glued to your radio set because we promise you to bring you some other interesting and educative content from this dial. My name is Oluwasayo Ajiwole, and of course, I'm signing out this morning saying bye-bye. Enjoy the rest of your day.